Welcome back, guys, to Steven's DIY Auto Repair.
All right, guys, and we are back. And we're in this 2019 Ford EcoSport front-wheel drive. It's got that 1.0-liter turbo engine. So, obviously, this is not the vehicle we're in, guys, but you get the idea. So, backstory on this, I didn't get to record it. I do apologize, guys, but we had a friend of my wife who she works with at work had an issue with her vehicle and wanted us to take a look at it. So normally when I get a call to look at a vehicle, I always like to get the vehicle information and get a little bit of what was going on with the vehicle, just so I could start ahead of time looking into it on service information and just kind of getting an idea of what's going on before I ever get there, to kind of cut down on basically the diag time. So long story short was the vehicle had given out on her randomly and she didn't feel comfortable, so she took it back home and I think she was going to drive it again. I apologize. This has been like a month or two after the fact that I'm actually recording this video. But basically the car gave out. She took it back home. She went to try to take it out again, and it was kind of making a funny noise, and she just didn't feel comfortable driving it, so she stopped driving it. So basically she gave me the info, and right away, pulling it up on my service information, which I'll show you guys here shortly, we seen that it had a recall. And it was a recall it was a safety recall for so basically on this particular vehicle and engine, the oil pump belt is internal, and it's literally a belt. It's a rubberized belt. It's not a chain like you normally find on most vehicles. So this belt being rubber, being soaked in oil, you can kind of guess what's going to happen. So basically the recall is for the belt and the belt tensioner, that it can fail, cause the vehicle to seize up or lock up, and not only will you have no power in your engine, but it could also cut the brakes off or something like that, and basically put you in a predicament where you can't stop your vehicle and ultimately, unfortunately, can crash. So Ford has issued a safety recall on that vehicle. So the backstory a little bit was, I believe a couple months before that, she had actually taken it into the Ford dealership for service, routine service, oil change and stuff like that. She says they never mentioned it to her, and she doesn't remember really getting a recall in the mail. However, according to the recall, and I'll show you guys that shortly. According to the recall, there really is no remedy. They don't have the parts available that's supposed to rectify the situation, not until the first quarter of 2025, which I think she was lucky enough that her vehicle gave out just before they were actually able to get the parts. So anyway, we'll get into that shortly. So basically the remedy is you drive the vehicle until the parts fail, and then if the engine blows, they put a long block in your vehicle until they can get the parts to remedy the situation. So moving a little forward, when we went over, we kind of did what we could do. The issue with something like this is, do you tear down the engine in order to find out if... So basically what we would have had to have done basically would be to drop the oil pan and see if we could see any kind of remnants of a belt or a tensioner, or look up in there. That's kind of really the way we were going to have to do it. We obviously seen that we had no oil pressure. We seen that on the scan tool. We could tell we didn't have, we had oil pressure, just not enough. The vehicle would start, but it was making a really bad noise, and I didn't want to keep running it to damage the engine. So basically, we would have to tear down the engine partially to confirm that that's what it was. Now, is it fair to charge the customer for that when, if the customer is going to have to take it to the dealership, because if you want it under warranty, the dealership is going to have to confirm as well that that's what the issue is. It wouldn't matter if I was to be able to verify. The dealership's not going to take my word for it. So, is it right? No. And that's why we advised the customer, we highly advise the customer that it doesn't make sense for her to pay me to verify that it's the oil pump and then pay the dealership to verify the same thing. So we encouraged her to take it to the dealership, to call the dealership, let them know what was going on, and see what they were going to say. I did tell her that they're probably going to charge her a diagnostic fee in order to confirm what the issue was. So the customer obviously didn't feel too comfortable calling the dealership and explaining all that. So the vehicle was at her house. So what we did was we called the dealership ourselves, let them know customer had a problem. We went to check it out, and we confirmed it was the oil pump. So I mentioned the recall, and sure enough, her VIN number qualified for the recall, and they were able to actually come and pick up the vehicle at no cost to the customer. They were able to pick up the vehicle. They did find out that sure enough, the pump had, or the belt and tensioner had failed. So that was great. So that was covered under warranty. And they also provided her free of charge a rental vehicle to cover the time that her vehicle was being serviced on. And I think her vehicle was in the shop, I'm going to shoot about a month. I think it was about a month. They didn't have the parts available when they first took the vehicle, and they told her it was going to be some time, so they issued her a loaner vehicle at no cost to her. So I guess they were able to get the parts eventually. So I guess now Ford does have the parts to rectify the situation. I really don't know. Once I called the dealership and gave them the information, and they were ready to pick it up, I gave them the customer number, and from there it was kind of out of my hands. So long story short, she was able to get her vehicle back in tip-top shape. It's running now, and Ford did take care of that. So I was actually really, really happy with my conversation that I had with Ford. No issues. They were very helpful. I'm not going to say what dealership it was, but very helpful. And they took care of the customer, no problem. So I give them really applause for that. So yeah. So the customer got their car fixed, and they were good to go. They were very appreciative of the fact that we looked at it and we were honest, and we just didn't take their money. And we also called the dealership and got the ball rolling on that. So before we get into the actual service information and showing you guys the actual recall, I just want to say, I always try to be super honest with my customers. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a family member, if it's a friend, if it's a stranger. I got into this business to be honest and to try to help other people, because back in the day, I know how it was for me when I had no idea, no clue. A lot of times when I went to these chain shops or independent dealerships, I felt like I was always getting taken advantage of. So that's one thing I did not want to do to my customers. So we advised her, like I said, about the recall. We actually gave her a copy of the recall, and we went and looked at the vehicle just to make sure there was nothing small that was going on with the vehicle that we could just rectify. All signs pointed at the oil pump issue and the recall. So I made the call to not dig into the car, not charge her for digging into the car. We did charge. I'm not gonna lie, we did charge for a diagnostic fee, but that was about it. And then again, the customer didn't feel too comfortable calling the dealership, so we took care of that for her. I had no problem doing that. So anyway, guys, that is the gist of it. So I'll take you and let you look at the recall and give you another website that you guys could go to if you don't have access to dealership information, a website you could check out to look for any kind of recalls on your vehicle. And then after that, I'll kind of show you some pictures of basically what we're talking about. So for now, let's go ahead and head over to ALLDATA. All right, guys, so here we're on our ALLDATA website. This is our OEM repair information that we use. And as you can see here, we got the 2019 Ford EcoSport 1.0 turbo. And as you can see right here on top, we got open recalls. So we have the open recalls and service history. The customer had last went into service on the 2nd of 2025, 1/2/25, and had all this service completed on their vehicle. Here we have the open recalls. Recall was 1/4/2024. As you can see, manufacturer safety recall issued. The NHTSA recall number is here. The recall number for Ford on the engine oil pump belt and tensioner replacement, interim repair, and the status remedy not yet available. So we're going to go ahead and go into the TSBs, and we got the recall up here. So let's make this bigger. Here we go. So here is the Ford issued recall. We're not going to go through every single thing. We're just going to kind of touch on some stuff here. So you can pause it and check out everything if you'd like. But so the vehicles affected, we got the EcoSport 2017 to 2022. And here's the build dates. The EcoSport, the Focus 2016 to 2018. The build dates. The Fiesta 2017 to 2018, and the build dates as well. Reason for this safety recall: in some of the affected vehicles, the engine oil pump drive belt tensioner arm may fracture or separate from the tensioner backing plate, and or the oil pump drive belt may degrade and shed pieces of material, resulting in a loss of engine oil pressure. A loss of engine oil pressure can result in engine damage and or seizure, which can result in a loss of motive power and a loss of the mechanical vacuum pump required to provide power braking assist, increasing the risk of a crash. The service action. Remedy parts are not currently available for this recall. If a customer experiences an engine failure related to a broken oil pump belt or pump belt tensioner, a long block engine may be installed as an interim repair before the availability of the remedy parts. The updated oil pump belt and tensioner will be replaced once the parts become available, beginning in the first quarter of 2025. This interim repair can currently only be performed on vehicles with engine failures at no charge to the vehicle owner. So really happy to see Ford noticing an issue with their vehicle and taking care of it for the customer. So we're going to move on to this. You guys could read it on your own. Pause it if you like. We're going to go through this real quick. Rental vehicle information. Like I said, they did cover her vehicle and her towing free of charge at no cost to her. You can see it here. We're not going to get into that. And a lot of this is more for the dealership and the technician or the mechanic working on the vehicle. Doesn't relate too much to the customer. But here we got page 1 of 6. I'll just go through. You guys can pause it if you really like. Oops, too fast. So 2, 3. Sorry, it keeps jumping. So there's 4, 5, 6. Basically your labor allowance and parts ordering information. New vehicle demonstrates delivery hold, safety recall. Recall reimbursement plan, general recall reimbursement plan. Cost to be reimbursed, required documents, blah, blah, blah. So, whoops. Sorry guys, it keeps jumping around. So like I said, a lot of this doesn't pertain to the customer. It's mostly for the technician or the mechanic. So anyway, guys, basically this is what we encountered when we looked up the vehicle information. Like I said, I like to get a jump on looking up stuff like that before I ever head out to the customer's vehicle or before they ever bring it over. So that's how we found out about the recall. So now I know not everybody has access to OEM information like I do here. However, ALLDATA does provide and sell a service for ALLDATA DIY. So I did a video on that before, so if you guys want, I'll try to throw up a link here to that video. But if you look up ALLDATA DIY, you can purchase OEM information, but for only one vehicle or for 2 vehicles or however many, and there's different price points. I get charged monthly for this, and it's a significant amount, but I can look up any vehicle, all that. But the DIY is only specific to however many vehicles you add to it. So it's a pretty cool deal. It's I actually started out with that before I established my business, and really enjoyed it. That's why I went with ALLDATA for my business. But enough of that. So if you don't have ALLDATA as a commercial, and you don't have ALLDATA, or you don't want to get ALLDATA for DIY to look up recalls, and if you're not working on your vehicle, there's no point. But another way is to look at the NHTSA web. Another site that you could go to is this one here. It's the NHTSA.gov website. It's the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. So this website is absolutely amazing. Anybody can get on it, and you can check for recalls right here. So here's your vehicle information. You put your license plate number or the VIN or the year, make, and model, and you could search up any kind of recalls that's going on with your vehicle. So that's a really handy tool. A lot of dealerships, all manufacturers, makes and models, they will always usually send out any kind of safety recall information to you, to your house. But if for whatever reason you don't get it, or whatever the case may be, you can always check this website for any kind of safety recalls that your vehicle might have, or if your vehicle is acting up and you want to just check on this website if there's a recall for it or not. Also, this website you can see here, you got car seats, you can put the brand name, the tire, brand name, and equipment. So this website is very handy, gives you road safety, risky driving, ratings, recalls, gives you ratings on the vehicles. So this is a very handy website if you're looking at buying a new vehicle, the ratings and all that kind of stuff. So this is another tool that you could utilize if, like I said, if you don't have the AllData commercial or the AllData DIY, you're not concerned about working on your vehicle, there's actually no point to utilizing that. So you could utilize the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration website to look up for recalls. But if you are in the DIY field and you like working on your own car, the AllData DIY is another route that you can go. So we'll go back, and as you can see, that is the safety recall that Ford has implemented. So now we're going to go ahead and take you back to our pictures, and we're going to kind of explain what's been happening and the reason why Ford has put out this recall. So I'll see you back there. Okay guys, so we're back. So we're going to give you kind of an idea of what the oil pump and the oil pump belt looks like. As you can see here, we got an oil pump here, and you can kind of see the sprocket on it, if you will, lack of better terms, and the teeth that's on it. And then now you see the oil pump belt. Again, it's just a belt. It's not a chain like they normally are. It's a belt and being soaked in oil. These teeth are getting a rubber belt on a metal pulley. These teeth are getting eaten up. The belt's getting eaten up, and the pulley's just breaking off and fracturing. So here's maybe give you a better idea of what we're talking about and what you're looking at. But basically, the pulley's fracturing and cracking apart and breaking apart, and or you have the actual belt that's being eaten up with being soaked in oil and being a rubber belt on a plastic, or rubber belt on a metal pulley type thing, or whatever you call it. So basically those parts are being eaten up, and as you can see here, we have the oil pickup tube, and it's got a strainer inside, and basically those parts or pieces that are being broken off or chewed off is getting into the oil, and then when the pickup tube is trying to suck up the oil to disperse it through the engine oil galleries, then you have those parts being stuck up in that screen. Here's a little bit better picture. That screen is completely coated and caked in parts. So once that's happening, you're not able to get any oil through the strainer and being pumped up into the top of the engine like it should be. And that's what's causing either your low oil pressure, no oil pressure, and then obviously with no oil pressure, you get metal on metal, you get heating, seizing up of the engine, and the engine is gone at that point. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what's happening and what's going on, and the reason why Ford is issuing the recall. So those two parts are basically destroying the engine when they break off or You know, like in my customer's case, it didn't get to the point where it seized her engine, thankfully. So I think that's what also helped get her back on the road quicker. But basically, that's what's happening. So hopefully you guys understand that a little bit better. I apologize. I wasn't able to record very much. I didn't record anything at all, actually. But hopefully that gives you guys a good idea of this recall and the issue that some of these Ford vehicles are having because of these two parts. Normally you have a chain on a metal sprocket. It's not to say that those don't fail. Of course those fail, but I just don't understand the reasoning behind a drive belt instead of a chain, an oil pump belt over an oil pump chain. I just don't understand it. Doesn't make any sense to me, guys. But anyway, Ford's taking care of it, so that's the part we care about. And luckily, my customer was able to get her car back on the road, and she's happy. So there you have it, guys. Hopefully that makes some sense to you guys, and hopefully if you have this problem, you are aware. So guys, if you guys like this video, make sure to go down there and hit that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. So anyway, guys, as always, if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you guys would like to be notified when I put out another video, make sure to hit that bell notification. And as always, guys, please subscribe to my channel for more informational videos and DIY projects. And until next time, guys, have a good one.